न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्च्यवन्ति ते यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन्यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवम् मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि समोऽहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेष्योऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् अपि चेत् सुदुराचारः भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यग्व्यवसितो हि सः
Sarthak. Ma'am, in Valmiki Ramayana, I came across the portion where Saint Agastya gives Aditya Hridayam, a prayer to Brahman in the form of sun, to Lord Rama for defeating his enemies in battle and also purifying himself. My question is, are all the ancient sages, including Shankaracharya who wrote Saundarya Lahari, just liars who lied to people in order to get them to contemplate on Brahman? Since you said in one of the class that all prayer stuff is false. No, I didn't say all prayer stuff is false, Sarthak. The whole problem, excuse me, in explaining Vedanta today is that we are now explaining concepts of a language in another language. So when we do that, we need to translate stuff. We need to translate. So the Sanskrit word will get translated, the mantra, the excuse me, will get translated into the English word prayer. But the original word mantra comes from the root man, which is mind, and tra, it's a samas, mantra. It is the, in Sanskrit, you can add letters at the end of something and then create a word, right? It's a form of samas. So you can add pa, and that means to drink, and you can add ja, and that means to be born of. And we've studied all this in the past. So tra represents trayate. Trayate means to protect. So mana, of course, you understand, mind. Tra is trayate, to protect. So mana trayate iti mantra. That which protects your mind is your mantra. So all of these people are supposed to give these mantras or other words which have similar sort of significance. Like take the word mantrashala, for instance. So in English now, if you you sort of translate mantrashala into English, what would you call it? You'd call it like a committee room or something like that. But what does it mean when you say it in Sanskrit? Is that it is some place where there is a deliberation of something going on. So all these things are used in very, Sanskrit is a very organized language. English is the language of the masses, because English doesn't have that kind of organization. And if it were an Indian language, we would have called it a Prakrit language, because it doesn't have that type of organization which the classical languages have, like which Sanskrit has. And that's why English is so popular, because it's very easy to learn, it's very easy to speak. I know that many people feel that no, English is very tough, but please understand that the whole globe is sort of turning towards English. Why? Because it's really a language you can just pick up as you speak. So Sanskrit is also obviously like that, because people spoke it, but it's extremely organized. So now this mantra has become into English as prayer, which is correct. It is the English word, but it doesn't explain everything that the Sanskrit speaker understands out of it. So what would a Sanskrit speaker, a natural Sanskrit speaker, understand out of it? What would he understand out of this mantra or prayer? So you give a prayer to Brahman in the form of sun. So you immediately have understood that the sun is a manifestation of Brahman. You've understood this. For defeating his enemies in battle and also purifying himself. So if I were to translate it into modern speak, then modern speak would say, this is your goal statement. Okay, first and foremost, when you have a desire in the mind, you must convert it to a goal. What is it that you want to achieve? What is it you want? Generally, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. I want X amount of money in Y amount of time. It is my statement. It's my original statement. Right? So when you pray, you focus your mind on what you are trying to do. What is it you're trying to do? So I have to do two things according to your prayer: for enemies in battle, and also for purifying himself is not really a part of it, because the word mantra itself tells you that. Because the way this whole thing is structured or formulated is, whatever you do for self-purification. So that's why mana trayate iti mantra, that which protects your mind. What protects your mind? Your goal protects your mind. Your attitude of self-purification protects your mind. These are your mantras. All the mantras do exactly the same thing. The Sanskrit speaker understands that. Mana trayate iti mantra. Whatever protects your mind. So all of these people will do these. All the mantras have to do this. Make a statement of what is it you want to achieve. Understand that you're doing it as a method of self-purification. And thirdly, your recognition that all of this is Brahman in itself. This is part of the culture. It is already understood. Like, now let's convert this into something English and then you'll get it. Suppose I say, okay, let us pick up our spoons in English. Let's or raise our glasses. Okay, that's a better one. Let's raise our glasses. An English speaker immediately understands that raising your glass means what?
It's a celebration. It's a toast.
Toast. Correct. You understood that, right? But what is the word saying? It's saying raise your glass. You understood immediately what is going on. What have you understood? That there's some kind of celebration going on, that people are drinking at the celebration, they're toasting somebody. You've understood all these things because the phrase says raise your glass. Now suppose I translate this into Sanskrit and I make a sentence, raise your glass. Now the Sanskrit speaker is not going to understand what this is supposed to mean until somebody explains it. And that's what's the problem that's taking place in the explanation of Vedanta now. So I didn't say all the prayer stuff is false. I tried to say that when you're praying, basically what you're trying to do is remember Brahman. because all of it is part of this. Now, for those people who are able to have goals, like a Rama or somebody like that, it becomes a statement of mission. But if a person is unable to have a goal, like the vast majority of people, those people who are unable to have that, they just generally pray. So in their general pray, they say all their desires, okay, but whatever desires they have, without any clear statement of what they want, they associate it all with Brahman. Because the nature of our society has always been inclusive. Okay, now everybody will say, no, we made all the caste system and all. Yes, we did. But the nature of our society, the nature of our original philosophy was always inclusive, and all this exclusivity has started very recently in the last few hundred years. But otherwise, it wasn't like that at all. Because if you hear the ideas of the Vedas, there's no question of exclusivity. There is gradation, which is not exclusivity. Gradation means I recognize that different people have different abilities. Exclusivity means that just because you have different abilities, therefore you're somehow better or worse. That is not there, because the original concept is everybody is Brahman, regardless of your body, mind, intellect. So this is a rather long explanation, Sarthak. Are you clear? So if you have a goal, your prayer becomes a statement of mission. If you don't have a goal, your desires get expressed in your prayers. But in either case, they are associated with Brahman and they are associated with self-purification. Because the culture tried to bring in God into everything. But if you think I will pray to God and then God will give me all these things, then that's where you're making a mistake. God is not giving you things. Your own karma will give you things. God is the maintainer of that law of karma. Are you clear, Sarthak?
Ma'am, the last line just you said, I am kind of unclear on that, because everyone in Jnana Kand has this thing where they have to give logic to everything, and they have good intellect. But the people who are practicing Karma Kand, and they are practicing, and it is the major portion of the Vedas. So let's say a person is praying for rain. Now that person can't make getting rain a goal. That person just wants rain because he has to look after his agriculture, suppose. And now he is praying to Indra for getting rain in the form of Brahman.
Sarthak, can you just state your question? We'll do your explanation later. Just state the question.
Okay, so the question is that, ma'am, you are just basically falsifying the karma kand. Like people, they were praying for rain, so rain came. So they are praying for rain to God, and God is making it rain. You are saying that that's not true. So the whole of karma kand is falsified now. You are looking it at from the viewpoint of Jnana Kand for Chit Shuddhi, but people have needs that maybe they don't have the power to fulfill. What about them?
What is the question? You think about it. First, you think about the answer to the current question. Digest that much, and next class we can take up any further question. You don't have to say something now. You can just digest what you have currently learned.
मैम मैं हिंदी में थोड़ा सा कम में एक्सप्लेन कर देता हूँ. जैसे मैम जो
सार्थक
अच्छा क्लास का टाइम जा रहा है. ओके श्योर.
You write down whatever you want. Yeah. Okay, so since we began with this question, it's a really nice way of entering into the topic which we have today, which is that about the inclusivity of our culture. It's a very nice way we got introduced to this concept to say how inclusive our culture is. It is not it's not a chip on our shoulder that we have to try to be inclusive. It is just part of our understanding of life. And what is it? This topic which we are about to enter talks about how you put in effort, and it doesn't matter who you are, you will achieve the goal. It doesn't matter who you are. It always talks about it is not important where you are right now. What is important is what are you doing right now. What you are right now is the consequence of what you did in the past. What you're doing right now is the cause of what is going to happen in the future. And understanding that is a great, what can I say? Isn't it a great, doesn't it give you confidence in the future? Knowing that you yourself, with your own actions, are creating, you're writing it. Your future is a novel that you are writing. And how are you writing it? You're writing it with your actions, based on what you do. And this story will unfold according to whatever its author has written with his or her actions. And that's why inclusion is part of it, isn't it? Because today you could be anybody, but if you're putting in the effort, tomorrow also you could be anybody. So there's no point me saying, oh, you are this and you are that. What is the point? Because I don't know. Tomorrow the whole scenario might have changed. So in the previous topic, he told us how to realize the self, right? What should we do? How should we go about it? And you'll get whatever you attain, whatever you strive for. So this is, think about Brahman, do these things, and then you will attain Brahman. Or think of the world, and then you attain that, whatever you choose. But you will have this question, a little sort of, what should I say, lack of self-confidence or whatever it is, makes us ask this question. Will I really realize the self? Can I really grow up that much to become a Buddha or a Ramatirtha or a Christ or a Krishna? How is that even possible? Is this, what are you saying? Are you sure you're including me when you say this? We have that little distrust of a lack of faith. I don't know what to call it. A little sort of feeling, a little hesitation, a little reluctance, a little, I don't think I can be that person. I don't know. Everybody talks about, oh, realization is too far off for us. It's too far off. What do you mean it's too far off? Why did you think like that? Why did you not say, I will try to realize the self? Why do you not say that? Because you get frightened. You say, oh my God, so far. I don't know if I get there. So now let us read this. So what has happened up to verse 28? You understood, right? He said, you work for the self, but then finally you will be released of all your bondages and you will be one with me. You will be a realized soul. And you're saying, oh, really? What are you saying? Meh? Really? Me? Yes, really you is what he's saying now by saying that everybody can do this. So let's read verse 29. Yes, Manoj, we are afraid of our own greatness. True. Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. Sarva bhuteshu, in all beings, sarva bhuta, all beings. Sama aham, I am the self. I am the same. Sama, you understand sama, right? Same. I am the self. I am the same in all beings. Na me dveshosti na priyaha. Na me dvesha asti na priyaha. I am not, nobody is hateful and nobody is there. Please understand what he's saying. What an amazing statement. Talk about this. God himself is saying, nobody amongst you is hateful to me or dear to me. What does that mean? Clearly, right? Be a saint or a sinner. The love is the same. Be a wise man or a fool. The love is the same. Be Einstein or an idiot. Love is the same. God makes no difference. The self makes no difference. It doesn't understand this. It doesn't understand your language. Oh, this fellow is big, this fellow is small. It doesn't understand all of this. Then why are you taking cognizance? Why are you making a comparison? Why are you saying that person is better than me or that person is worse than me? Why are we doing this? What's the point of it? Each one of us is somewhere. We all have a role to play. We just play that role and get on with it. No, but that role is better than my role. How? How can the world continue if you did not play your role? Is the prime minister more important or is the sweeper more important? How can you say, right? You need the prime minister. Where will the country go? And you need a sweeper, otherwise we'll all be dead. Imagine if all the cleaning staff go on a strike. We can't survive. So what are we talking about, important or not important? It's all like put together. Those who are bright in class are required. Those who are dumb in class, they are also required. The dumb people teach the intelligent people patience. They also teach the intelligent people there is a lot that they themselves don't know. Because remember, the world's dumbest person can ask more questions than the world's wisest person can answer. So whoever is dumb in our life teaches us how little we know. Whoever's intelligent in our life teaches us what we have to strive for. Suppose you say, no, we are in a class of only intelligent people. We will actually harm the class by having only intelligent people. And you say, no, we need only dumb people. Then we will harm the class again. Because the dumb people will need somebody to aspire to. And the intelligent people will need a recognition of how much they need to still do. Everybody is important. Who is important? Is the teacher important or is the student important? The teacher is important. How is teacher important? Suppose there is a very good teacher, the world's best teacher. But there are no students. Well, how will that teacher be? That's why, near on the Mahim Causeway, there is a very famous statue. You remember what it says? Anybody? Nobody's been to Mumbai. Where are all our Mumbai people? What does it say?
Mother gives
Mother. Child gives birth to a mother.
Yeah.
Child gives birth to a mother, right? No child, no mother. So who was important, the child or the mother? The student gives birth to the teacher. The husband gives birth to a wife. The wife gives birth to a husband. So what are you saying? Who's more important? Without the other, this person cannot. There is no. Without the child, there is no mother. And without the mother, there is no child. So what are you talking about? Of who's more important or less important? The Lord, represented by every wise person, every spiritual person, every grown person, says, Name desh dvesho dveshasti na priya. Nobody. Me dveshaha na asti. Na me priyaha. To me, there is nobody who I dislike, and there is nobody who I love. That doesn't mean he's a cold-hearted, callous person. He's not capable of loving anybody. No, what it means is that he loves everybody. That's why he says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I am the same in all. Na me ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. Bhaktya, tritiya vibhakti or bhakti. Bhaktya with bhakti. Na me ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. Those who bhajanti me, those who seek me, worship me, bhaktya, with bhakti. Maite teshu cha api aham. Maite, I am in them. Teshu, in them. Cha api aham. I am also in them. In other words, we are the same. But you may wonder, what is I am in them and they are in me? Remember last time he said, they are in me, I am not in them. I feel like I make up your mind. Some days you say in me, some days say out. Only a way of us understanding what he's getting at. The self and us are the same. Now, depending upon which angle of vision you are taking, you can make all these various statements. I am in them and they are in me means we are the same for that person. I mean, the self, I am the self is true for that person who worships me with bhakti. So you say, why with bhakti? Bhakti means with love. What is love? Identification. Means you feel one with that person or being or whatever. That is bhakti. Nowadays, bhakti means, oh God, give me this, give me that. That is not bhakti. That is the opposite of bhakti. That is called attachment. And you're looking upon God as your agent in fulfilling your desires. This is not bhakti. Bhakti is love. Love is identification. Identification means your happiness is my happiness, your sorrow is my sorrow. I feel one with you. So when you are not grown in life, Ramatirtha explains this with the help of grammar. When you're not a grown individual, you think of God as He, somewhere there in the clouds. You say He will help me. As you grow a little, it's like third person, right? He's there, He. When you say He, it's somebody far off. As you grow in life, you refer to God as you. I feel close to you. Because now He's closer. But when you achieve the ultimate, then you understand that God and I are one. You refer to God as I. So if you worship Him with bhakti, you begin to identify with Him and find that that which you referred to as He is really just I. The same am I, excuse me, the same am I in all beings. There is none hateful or dear to me. But those who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am also in them.
Janki, I have a question. So this is just basically the recognition of the devotee. But he's trying to say it's there I'm there in everybody, but it's just the devotee recognizes it, right? Okay.
I am there in everybody, but when you have devotion, you see that we are one.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
मैम मैम ये वर्स कंफ्यूजिंग है मैम. पिछले वो फर्स्ट 7 वर्सेस में पढ़ाया था कि नोबडी इज इन मी ईदर वाला एक वर्स था.
That's what.
अब ये वाले वर्स में बोल रहे हैं कि क्या कहते हैं क्या कहते हैं आई एम इन देम एंड दे आर इन मी. वो मैम कंफ्यूजिंग हो रहा है फिर से.
Yes, because it all depends on your angle of vision. Now take the example of the rope and the snake. Suppose I say the snake is in the rope. You remember this? Anybody new in class today? Any new names? Anyone is new and hasn't done this before? I think everybody I know. Munira, I think you've also been here before, right? I've seen this name earlier. Priya B also, I don't think I know, but I've seen the name earlier, so I'm assuming you all have been here earlier.
Ma'am, this is Taruna, joined after a long time.
Yes, I know. Taruna, I will not even let you answer the question of being new.
Yes,
Taruna
yes,
has
ma'am.
been, yeah. So even if it's a long time, you finished your education all over now.
Yes, ma'am. My MA is finished now, so I am able to join Sunday class.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So nobody is new, right? All right. So so I'm assuming everybody knows the example of the snake and the rope. In the dark, a young boy sees the rope and believes it to be a snake. Please, everybody know this example is like standard Vedanta example. It's dark. A boy sees a rope as a snake. This is the example. Raju Sarpanyaya. The rope and the snake example. It's the most commonly used example because it's really very telling. Now take all these various statements he makes. If you understand the rope and the snake example, which naturally we do, you can understand all his statements. You say the rope is in the snake. Correct? Right, no? We are seeing a snake, but the rope is in that snake. Correct. The rope is not in the snake. Correct, no? The snake has not eaten the rope. The rope is not actually in the snake. Suppose you say the snake is in the rope. Correct. Suppose you say the snake is not in the rope. That is also correct. Is there a snake really there in that rope? No, there is no snake. There's only a rope. So depending on how you're saying it, all these statements will work. They don't say that don't say that I am in the rope says, don't say I am in the snake. Say that the snake is in me. It's also correct. Say that the rope is in the snake and the snake is in the rope. That is also correct. So any way you put it, it can be correct. And that's what the Jains have this concept, very beautiful concept. What is it called? I forgot. Is there any Jain over here? What is that beautiful concept they have, which is of Anekavad. Anekavad concept says you have many theories and they're all correct. So that's another very beautiful concept. There is a snake and there is a rope. Why this statement cannot be true? No, this statement is also true. There is a snake and there is a rope. Or you can say there is no snake, there's only a rope. That's also true. There is a snake and there is a rope is also true. For the boy who sees the snake, there is a snake. So you can say that. Or you can say there is no snake because actually there is no snake. He just happens to see a snake when there's a rope. So all the statements can hold. It all depends on what is your angle of vision. So if you understand the concept, you will understand all of these statements are true. So the same am I in all beings. There is none hateful or dear to me. But those who worship me with devotion, they are in me and I am also in them. This is the beauty of philosophy. That's why Zen sayings are very interesting because they play with all this. If we identify both, then Advaitavad will not be proven. Why will it not be proven? Advaitavad is a conclusion after everything. Advaitavad says that, firstly, let's call it Advaita, not Advaitavad. So Advaita says there is only a rope. Advaita says there is a snake and a rope. Advaita doesn't refute Dvaita. It doesn't say you're wrong when you say that. It only says that the snake has a relative reality. The snake exists for the boy, but it does not exist in itself. So we are not here to prove anything, but we're only to understand the whole picture of things.
So, ma'am, this is basically a Dvaita verse. We can say that, right?
No. Every verse, Dvaita is not separate from Advaita. They're not two separate streams. You have, everything can be read as Dvaita, everything can be read as Advaita. When you read it as Advaita, you understand the whole picture. But nobody's saying Dvaita is wrong. Nobody's made that claim. Advaita is inclusive. It accepts everything. It's exactly like Sangeeta says that there is a rope, and Advaita will say yes, there is a rope. No, I mean sorry, there is a snake. So Advaita says yes, there is a snake. Then he says, but there is only a rope. How can you say there is a snake? So Advaita says that the snake has a relative reality. That means it is perceptible to that boy. It has no absolute reality, meaning there is no actual snake there. So there is no debate like that. Advaita is inclusive. Nobody in Advaita will say you're wrong, because Advaita stance on everything is that it's relative. Everything you're saying is relatively true. Means from a relative standpoint, it is true. What if the boy sees both separately? Sangeeta, please. We are talking about when he has misunderstood the rope for the snake. We're not talking about when there is an actual snake there. We're using this analogy to understand what Vedanta is saying about it. Okay, so let's go to verse 30.
Janki ji,
Mm-hmm.
when you end up seeing a snake, then actually there is only a rope. Is that what we call as Maya or delusion?
Yes.
Okay. So the idea of Vedanta is to remove the delusion so that you see what actually is there.
Yeah, let's stick to the Sanskrit word. The Sanskrit word Maya is translated into English as illusion. But that is not Vedanta's concept. Vedanta's concept, I mean, you can't, in English, you can do nothing but call it illusion. But let's go back to the Sanskrit. The Sanskrit says Maya. Ma means not. Remember, Ma kuru dhana jana yauvana garman. Ma kuru, don't do. Ma means no, you're negating it. Ya means it, whatever it is, that. Okay, yeah, yaha is that. So Maya means not that. So when you say that you are seeing a snake where there is really a rope, Advaita is saying Maya, not that. What you're seeing there is not a snake. Meaning the snake that you're seeing is actually a rope. It is not that. So it's a negation. It is never an assertion. Vedanta is never asserted, right? Vedanta is always negating.
Correct.
Not that. So when it says illusion, it doesn't capture the idea.
Yeah.
It's only telling you, basically, you're telling the boy that whatever you think you're seeing,
It's not
that's
there.
not really there. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Janki ji, Maya and Neti will be the same?
Yes, in the sense that Neti, I mean, it's like saying it's grammar construction now, but basically the same concept of negation. Neti means na iti, not this. Okay, so you can't say that. In the language you cannot say that. You'll have to say neti only somebody asks you a question. So suppose I say, is the body God? Then so you can reply neti. But if I ask you the question, is the body God? And you say Maya, then that doesn't make sense. I mean, nobody can answer a question like that. You have to say neti. But the concept of negation is the same.
Okay, thank you.
Hariam
Hariam.
When Krishna showed his Vishwaroop darshan to Arjuna, then there were two, no? He saw Krishna, Arjuna could see Krishna and himself both. I
You
mean,
could see Krishna and himself. Let's get to that chapter and then we'll talk. I think you're making a mixture of analogies. See,
yeah.
himself and Krishna is not the point here. The fact that anytime you see a form, it will have to be something else, no? What option do you have there?
Now, with the Advaita analogy, I can understand that the rope and the snake are the same. But if we do not apply that analogy, then in many, I mean, in the scriptures and everywhere, I find that God and Jiva are separate.
And in many scriptures, you will find that they are the same. So what's the point? I mean, you can't say that, right? That you will find many scriptures that say there is no God. There will be scriptures that say God and man are separate. There will be scriptures which say God and man is part of God. There will be scriptures that say man and God is the same. You please use your own intelligence and figure it all out.
So we
You
have
can't
to
say the
accept-
scriptures say, because you can interpret the scriptures in any of these ways. They're so sweet. They've already classified all the ways. And then, okay, you can say this also, you can say this also, you can say this. But which one is correct? Now you use your own head to figure that one out.
So we accept what suits us.
What do you mean we accept? Everybody
I mean,
accepts what suits
everybody,
them.
yeah, everybody. Okay.
Everybody will accept what suits them. Based on the intellectual growth of a person, they will be able to conceive only so much. So we don't tell people take what suits you, because why do we say that? Everybody will take whatever suits them. As if we are sitting with a danda on everybody's head, yellow, yellow. So everybody will naturally take whatever suits them.
Got the point. Thank you.
Okay, so let's do the promised verse, which was always that every one of us can grow to that level. Api ched suduracharaha bhajate mamananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Api ched suduracharaha bhajate mamananya bhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. Api chet, even if suduracharaha, achara, behavior, duracharaha, bad behavior, suduracharaha, PhD in bad behavior, excellent at bad behavior. It means if you translate it into English, then a very wicked person. But he's very good at being bad, like that kind of a person. Bhajate, to worship. You all know what worship means, right? What is worship? Pursue, very good. Bhajate means, actually it means pursue, because when you say I worship something, what do you really mean you worship it? You say I worship money, means I'm pursuing money. I worship the ground she walks on. What does it mean? Pursuing that particular person, right? So worship is only pursuing something. You cannot say worship something, but I'm not pursuing it. Then I'm not clear what you mean by worshiping it. So if you worship me, means you pursue me. Ma, me, ananya bhak. Anya, other. When you add the word a to any word, as you know, in Sanskrit, it becomes opposite. Ananya. Anya, other. Ananya, no other. No other thought. You pursue me with no other thought. Means you're clear what you want in life. It's not a punishment to think of God all the time. It's not an instruction to think of God all the time. But you're clear what is the purpose of your existence. What have you dedicated this lifetime to do? Clear about it. So if you are clear about that, and at the moment you're a complete mess, absolute unadulterated mess, you do not even understand what is goodness. You're such a mess. Sadhu reva samantavya. Sadhu means a saint. Very good. This messed up individual will be considered very good. Mantavya. Man, you understand. Mantavya. He will be considered, he should be considered as a sadhu. Meaning you are the world's biggest mess, but you will be considered a sadhu. Why? Samyak vyavasitah. He has thought correctly. That is a sadhu, right? Do things correctly. He has understood one thing and one thing alone. And my job here is to realize the self. Or whatever he calls it, to find the reality, realize the self, find God, whatever name you give it. But you're clear what you're doing. We should all know what we are doing with our lives, right? We get one life, all of us. One life. That's what you're getting. Now you decide what you want to do with it. Nobody else is to take that call for you. You take that call for yourself. What do you want to do? When you are on your dying bed, when the final curtain is about to fall, what, if you had done, would you be satisfied that I have lived my life? What is that thing? And how much work are you putting in today towards that thing? Can you imagine that the final curtain is about to fall? Yamraj is standing in front of you and he says, Chalo. And all you have to say is, I regret my life. What? I don't understand. Why would we want to live our life like that? Wouldn't we want to, when we are going, say, goodbye, I've done whatever I've come to do. I'm done. So, our problem with these kind of statements always is, oh, but look at my condition. Look at how bad everything is. Look at how difficult it is. Look at how bad I am. I want to be good, but I can't be good. I want to be objective, but I get involved. I want to use my intellect, but I'm not able to do it. I want to be unselfish, but I can't do it. And his answer to that is?
Morning study.
No, his answer to that is not that. His answer.
You can do it wherever you are.
It doesn't
Not
matter.
develop the intellect.
What is
Not
his
develop the
answer?
intellect enough.
No, what is his answer?
Resolve yourself at least now.
Yeah, decide now. Don't underestimate this moment. Decide now. Resolve now. This moment. Forget whatever you've done in the past. Just forget about it. He's saying you could be superb at bad behavior. Superb is also not a good word. It's like excellent in bad behavior. Suduracharaha. Acharya is just behavior, right? So you can have good or bad. When you put do, that means it's particularly bad behavior. So in English, you'd say that, no, I will not tolerate this behavior. So that's behavior, okay, very neutral. But if you want to make it worse, what would you say? I will not tolerate this bad behavior. And you want to make it surely this. I will not tolerate worst behavior. So that su durachara, su means good and du means bad. So su duracharaha means very good at bad behavior. So he's really given a nice fellow for us to look at. Why is he given that? It's because he knows most of us will not fall into that su durachara. Some little durachara will be there, but most will be achara. Okay, neutral stuff is going on. Most of us will be somewhere else. But even if you are a completely messed up individual, you're really stupid. You do the maddest things in the world. The most crazy stuff you do. Even then you will be considered to be a sadhu. Samyak vyavastha. Because samyak is very good. Very good is your resolve. What is that resolve? Bhajate mam ananyabha. That I will pursue the self. Single point. Because I have understood that that is the purpose. Or whatever is your purpose, whatever according to you, will give you that final satisfaction. What is that thing? It's something you have to figure out. As Sangeeta says, everybody will take what suits them. So please take what suits you. Think about it. Take it and stick with it. That is the meaning of the word resolve. Not one day ye or one day wo. एक दिन द्वैत रिजॉल्व करते हैं, एक दिन अद्वैत रिजॉल्व करते हैं. नॉट लाइक दैट. एक दिन रिजॉल्व करते हैं पैसे कलेक्ट करते हैं, एक दिन रिजॉल्व करते हैं गॉड कलेक्ट करते हैं. You decide once and for all. What do you want? And make that your Maha Mantra. Okay? Don't choose mantras that gurus give you. Don't choose mantras which X, Y, and Z says very powerful mantra. Your mantra, what will protect your mind, is your understanding of what you need to do. Everything else is hogwash. I understand very well why you interpret worship as pursue, because Vedanta is all inclusive. But why doesn't Lord Krishna use some other words than bow down, worship, or offer? What a question, Sarthak. Bichara, he should be allowed the freedom to choose his own words, no? Why did you not use this word? He is trying to communicate an idea. You forget about the words and find out what is the idea he's trying to communicate. ये शब्द क्यों इस्तेमाल किया? चलो, stand in the dock, explain to me.
मैम लेकिन बाउ डाउन का मतलब एक्चुअल में बाउ डाउन नहीं है, मतलब वो बस हमने मेंटल रिजॉल्व किया, उनके लिए वो काफी है ना.
तो भजते is pursue. भज.
मैम वर्शिप मतलब वो वाला वर्शिप नहीं, वो पूजा वाला वर्शिप नहीं, बट मेंटल रिजॉल्व किए कि हमें सेल्फ परस्यू करना है, ये ना.
हाँ, जो भी आपने रिजॉल्व किया, जो भी आपने डिसाइड किया, फाइनली आपके जीवन में सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज क्या है और आपने वो रिजॉल्व किया, तो बेस्ड ऑन दैट रिजॉल्व you will achieve whatever you want, whatever that resolve is. If you keep changing your resolve, then you will get nothing.
Janki ji, a person who's having Sudhuracharya, will he be actually able to pursue God with devotion? Conversely, a person who's actually pursuing God with devotion, will he really be wicked? So I am unable to how to correlate. That brings me to the question which you started the session with. What you are now is a result of your past, but what you do now is what you're going to be. So how do we break away from our vasanas? If I am wicked, how do I break away from that and pursue God with devotion? So this particular point,
this is a unique faculty that only human beings have. And a tiger cannot release himself from his past. A monkey cannot release himself from his past. A caterpillar cannot release itself from the past. A rose bush cannot release itself from the past. Means whatever vasanas it has to live that out. It has no option there. In the case of human beings, we also have these kind of vasanas, which are not an option to us. But we also have vasanas No, I shouldn't say we should also have vasanas. We also have another element in us, which gives us the ability to choose. Now, when we make that choice, the problem always is that the past that we have created is very powerful because we've created it already. And the choice that you're making now is going against that past choice. So this is going to be a difficult choice. Take a simple example. Let us say I've been running a business all this time. Now I've decided I don't want to run a business. I want to become an artist. My past will have a lot of effect on me. Why? Because now I have a business, I have all my inventory, I have all the government regulations, I have all that. I have to wind myself out of all of that, whatever my commitments were, and then redirect my life to becoming an artist, which is possible, but is always difficult. And the difficulty is created because of the past, whatever I've done in the past. That's why I'm trying to give you an example which is non-moral, so that you can understand the difficulty of conversion. Now you have a past, you are a teacher. You may choose to become, I don't know, a musician. But you'll have to wind out everything from being a teacher, right? You have made commitments, you have got whatever. And now you want to become a musician. So this whole winding down process occurs at the mental level also.
So what we are trying to say is that we can break away from the influence of our vasanas and recreate the path today.
Correct.
Thank you.
That's what this verse is saying, that you can be a complete and idiotic mess in this world. But if you have decided the right thing, that thing will be your hook out of the mess. See, suppose I am in a big financial mess at the moment, but I have decided that I'm going to straighten out my finances. It may take me years to sort out the mess, but I'm going to get out one day. Why do I have the mess? Because of what I did in the past. How am I going to get out of the mess today? By making that resolution that I'm going to make it right. So he says, if no matter what your condition is, you make that resolution, you will reach the self.
Hariom Di, can you please explain the same example in regards to the 3 yogas? Like if somebody is a Karam yogi, when he decides to be in bhakti, then he'll have to, and similarly, if in somebody is in bhakti yoga and he wants to learn the Gyan marg, so he will have to delete whatever he has learned till date?
No, he'll have to grow from there. It's like saying somebody is in 5th standard. Now he wants to move to 6th standard. So then he has to move to 6th standard. He has to study hard his 5th standard stuff. And then he will pass and come to 6th standard.
But the concepts are like for a Karam yogi, the concepts are so strong in his heart. But at the same time, he wants to pursue bhakti yoga, or similarly, if a bhakti yoga, if a person
so he
is
will have to relook, take a fresh look, and that's always difficult. Because the past is forcing you to look at it in a particular way. Now you're going to force yourself to look at it in a new way. And if that new way seems correct to you, then to adopt it will become very difficult because of the past.
So is that wrong to do that?
Why would it be
Is
wrong?
it, like you said, whatever you've chosen, you stick to it. But what if one wants to grow?
No, what you've chosen is not a path. What you've chosen is the goal.
Yeah, okay.
Shilpa Shah, can we say Valmiki is an example? Yes, it's an example that Valmiki couldn't even say Ram to begin with. He was not able to utter the word Ram. So from there he became the great Valmiki.
So Valmiki Ramayanji is, I mean, it propagates Bhakti Yoga and Ramcharitamanas propagates Gyan Yoga. So is it wrong to study both the scriptures?
No, please get your concepts right. Whichever is your concept, you will see them both. You will see both books with that concept. Get your concept right. What according to you is correct. You determine that. Then whatever book you read, you will read like that. You read Bible also, it will tell you the same thing. You read Quran also, it will tell you the same thing. Get your concepts right. Surendra, do we need all, we do all the three yogas, right? Yeah, we do all the three yogas. So we're not talking about change of path here. We're talking about change of the resolve. Resolve is goal. What path you use will change dependent on where you are.